carried out a massive raid arresting more than 140 people.
Tonight's top story, new developments in the massive raid with 143 arrests. Tonight, the FBI is...
At 4:50 a.m., Texas didn't wake up to sirens. It woke up to explosive ramming attacks. Across several counties, the largest anti-narcotics operation in recent years began simultaneously. More than 5,000 agents from the FBI, ICE, DEA, and SWAT stormed transportation companies that were, in reality, fronts for a Venezuelan cartel. What looked like a simple logistics business turned out to be a death factory. The center of the operation was an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of Houston, a place long assumed to be just another logistics stop along the I-45. In reality, it was the primary hub of the Venezuelan cartel, disguised as a freight company. Inside, agents found dozens of crates labeled auto parts, which were actually professionally engineered concealment containers. In the yard, 3 trucks with built-in compartments were parked. Over 100 kilograms of methamphetamine, several dozen kilos of cocaine, and $9 million in cash hidden among refrigerated goods. This wasn't just a warehouse. It was a transcontinental command center linking Texas with Las Vegas, Atlanta, and Miami. For that reason, federal officials called the raid the biggest strike against the Venezuelan network in the last decade. On the second floor of the warehouse, behind an unremarkable door with peeling paint, agents stumbled upon the nerve center of the entire network, a fully operational cartel command hub. 2 rooms packed with screens, satellite tablets, and tracking terminals looked more like an air traffic control cabin than a drug den. Large monitors displayed live truck routes, more than 420 runs a month across 7 states. Every line on the map wasn't just a route. It was revenue, measured in hundreds of millions of dollars a year. The cartel didn't operate like a criminal group. It functioned like a transnational logistics corporation with its own dispatchers, accountants, and risk managers. This command center became the final destination of an investigation that had begun more than 6 months earlier. The start was almost invisible. An anonymous tip from a long-haul trucker reporting strange cargo being moved at night between Houston and Brownsville under the guard of armed men. The tip was forwarded to a multi-agency task force, a joint unit of FBI, DEA, and Homeland Security investigations. At first, it looked like an isolated case, but after 3 weeks of cross-checking customs databases, analysts discovered that the related companies repeatedly declared imports of used engines from Colombia and Panama, engines that never appeared in any warehouse. That's when wiretaps went into play. For months, agents monitored dozens of phones, conversations reduced to short-coded phrases about temperature, depth, and empty frames. Other exchanges happened through encrypted messengers, where payments were processed in crypto, transferred directly from cartel wallets to accounts of U.S. carriers. Crypto tracing confirmed the key truth. The funds were constantly split among 14 shell companies registered in Delaware, Arizona, and Florida. These firms existed only on paper, creating the illusion of a legitimate business, but their bank accounts were bridges between Venezuelan chemical plants and Texas transport hubs. The investigation was complicated by the fact that the cartel operated without the usual borders. They didn't smuggle drugs in the classic way. No body packs, no foot mules. Their system was completely different. Pure chemical precursors entered the country disguised as industrial solvents, and the final product was manufactured inside the U.S. in mobile labs that moved together with the trucks. This gave the cartel an extraordinary advantage. Border crossings almost never contained illegal substances, meaning they didn't trigger standard law enforcement alerts. Everything changed in July, when HSI conducted an undercover purchase of a solvent listed as a cleaner for metal parts. Lab analysis revealed it was a high-purity precursor. That was the moment intelligence realized they were dealing not with a local supplier, but with a branch of a Venezuelan cartel believed to have been dismantled in 2019. The task force immediately switched to 24/7 surveillance of the Houston warehouse. They installed cameras, drones, hidden motion sensors, and radio beacons. The trigger came when a truck, which GPS data indicated was headed to San Antonio, suddenly changed its route and drove toward a private ranch in Liberty County, a location mentioned twice in intercepted calls as a collection point. Agents understood. A major shipment was being prepared. 3 hours later, federal teams confirmed the movement of 3 additional trucks departing from the same facility. That meant only one thing. The cartel was activating its multi-state corridor. And that's when the command center gave the green light for the early morning raid.
Everything agents seized on the second floor. Servers, crypto wallets, routing maps, forged invoices, and full accounting logs proved that this cartel had long crossed the line of ordinary smuggling. It was operating as a private shadow transportation empire with its own IT departments, fraudulent insurance policies, GPS monitoring systems, and a command center more organized than many legitimate logistics companies. This was no longer the chaos of drug trafficking. It was an industry. And this morning, it was finally cut open. The cartel's entire system was built on forged documents and ghost companies. In Texas alone, 26 transport firms were registered that existed only on paper. Their offices consisted of nothing more than a laptop, a P.O. box, and a phone number redirected to dispatchers in Caracas. Millions of dollars moved through these fake companies, disguised as shipments of spare parts, refrigerated goods, and household chemicals. The invoices were forged so skillfully that they passed even dual-layer customs inspections. The front businesses functioned as a single, tightly coordinated machine. 12 auto shops scattered across Houston, Pasadena, and Pearland specialized in constructing hidden compartments. And not simple ones. Specialized welding crews cut double walls into truck bodies, installed hydraulic bolts, magnetic locks, and even graphite-lined insulation that made the compartments invisible to X-ray scanners. Canine units also found nothing. The odor traps were created with chemical masking gels that the FDA doesn't certify because, officially, they don't exist. These compartments allowed the cartel to move meth and cocaine through Texas for years with almost no risk. For storing narcotics, the cartel used 8 freezer warehouses, legitimate businesses that held contracts for storing frozen chicken, fish, and vegetables. But behind the first layer of real product lay dozens of sealed drug bricks. In a single warehouse in White Settlement, agents discovered more than 300 crates where thin layers of frozen goods concealed vacuum-packed methamphetamine. The temperature of -18 degrees Celsius masked the odor, and the RFID tag system was reprogrammed to display only legal shipments. The drugs were essentially traveling alongside real food. The scheme was multi-layered. The suppliers, chemical labs in Venezuela, some operating near state industrial zones, manufactured methamphetamine concentrates and cocaine base, which they shipped through private ports to Central America. From there, couriers moved the precursors into Mexico, and at the Texas border, the loads were received by American carriers, official employees of the fake companies. They completed the final stage of production in mobile labs built directly into semi-trailers. The cartel understood. It was far safer to finish manufacturing inside the U.S. than risk transporting fully processed drugs across the border.
Distribution ran through a network of operators in 7 states. Each group received packages, routes, crypto wallet configurations, and fake insurance policies. Profits came through 3 channels: drug sales, weapons trafficking, and illegal human logistics. The cartel didn't move just narcotics. It transported undocumented migrants using the same routes as the product. People were hidden in refrigeration compartments where the temperature was artificially raised to avoid fatalities, though not always successfully. This side business alone brought the cartel up to $40 million a year. Another layer was the financing. Payments were processed through cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Monero, sometimes Ethereum. Funds were immediately split into hundreds of microtransactions and distributed across dozens of shell company accounts. From there, they moved into offshore banks in Panama and the Bahamas. Any money returning to the U.S. appeared as logistics contract reimbursements. On one of the seized computers, agents found a full accounting spreadsheet that broke down income like a legitimate enterprise: logistics, transportation, client services. But buried beneath those labels were drugs, weapons, people, and technological contraband. Everything from microchips to communications equipment used in Venezuela to evade sanctions. The danger of the scheme lay in its scale. More than 100 kilograms of meth per month, potentially millions of lethal doses. Cocaine flowing into major cities. Weapons funneled back into Mexico to strengthen armed groups. Technology routed to countries the U.S. officially considers high risk. The cartel didn't just build a smuggling pipeline. It built a parallel shadow economy running alongside the legitimate one. This industry operated for years, and today its machinery was finally stopped. Not by a single arrest, but by a strike against the entire system at once. While analysts were unraveling the cartel's logistics network, another layer began to emerge, a darker one. Among the documents seized at the freezer warehouses, federal agents discovered payment ledgers, monthly transactions to government officials. At least 10 public employees had been helping the cartel bypass truck inspections and warehouse checks. One of them, a senior official within the Texas Department of Transportation, was taking up to $200,000 a month in bribes to remove certain routes from random inspections, effectively giving the cartel a permanent green light. Others, lower-level inspectors, received around $15,000 per truck they allowed to pass without screening. Once the corruption was confirmed, it became clear that action had to be immediate. Preparation for the operation took weeks. At the joint HSI-FBI Center in the Woodlands, authorities set up a temporary command base. There, they assembled DEA operatives, local SWAT teams, aviation units, and canine divisions. Analysts built an assault map. 17 target locations, warehouses, auto shops, freezer complexes, and the homes of corrupt officials. Each site was marked with access codes, entry plans, and predicted resistance points. The reason to move today was obvious. Intercepted communications revealed that 2 new shipments, totaling more than a metric ton of precursors and finished product, were already en route to Houston. If the cartel managed to redistribute the load across its freezer network, federal agents would be forced to chase it across the entire country. On top of that, several corrupt employees, having sensed suspicion, had begun erasing digital traces, putting the entire investigation at risk. The operation had to be perfectly synchronized, down to the minute. The main rule was absolute. No leaks, no warning.
On the night before the raid, teams gathered at 3 separate staging points in Katy, Webster, and Beaumont. During the final briefing, the operation commander said only one line: "The strike must be complete. One hit. Final. Tomorrow, this cartel stops existing." In El Paso, the cartel attempted a different escape, through the sewer tunnels. Agents found a concealed hatch hidden under pallets of merchandise. 2 cartel members descended, but were intercepted by a tactical support team that had been controlling the tunnels since the start of the operation. In San Antonio, cartel members barricaded themselves inside a cargo bay using heavy refrigeration modules. They tried to compress the barricade so SWAT couldn't lift the sections quietly, but the tactical unit deployed a thermohydraulic cutter and opened the passage in under 30 seconds.
Inside, they found 6 cartel members armed with carbines, radios, and body armor marked with Venezuelan insignia. The most dangerous moment occurred near Houston, where one dispatcher tried to initiate the Burn All protocol, a complete server wipe. He managed to activate the overheating system, but the quick access team breached the room before the data was damaged. Some sites surrendered without a fight. In Pearland, 4 guards simply raised their hands when they realized the scale of the operation. They thought it was just another customs inspection, not the coordinated strike of dozens of federal units. Overall, the resistance was fierce but disorganized. With the main communication hubs down, the cartel acted blindly and chaotically. That allowed the clearing teams to take control with almost no casualties. Despite the massive success of the operation, agents were quick to warn. The threat has not disappeared. The Texas branch of the network has been dismantled, but cartels never rely on a single pipeline. Intercepted communications already revealed mentions of backup routes, new transport companies, and drivers being trained to launch a second wave of operations. Investigators emphasized that this scheme was uniquely dangerous because of its corporate nature.
It didn't function like a typical criminal network. It operated like a structured commercial enterprise, complete with dispatch centers, logistics coordinators, accountants, IT departments, and even a customer support unit responsible for handling drivers. This was why it survived for so long. The system disguised itself as part of the legitimate economy. "We cut the spine of the network, but its nerve endings are still alive," said one senior FBI official, explaining that shutting down the Texas hub only halted the cartel's activity, not destroyed it outright. Agents add that this operation differed from previous ones. It didn't strike the street level. It struck the architecture of the criminal business itself. The cartel's structure was so meticulously designed that every component, from crypto wallets to freezer warehouses, was interchangeable. Shutting down one node meant they could connect another within days. The breakthrough was possible only because of a combination of cyber intelligence, long-term field surveillance, and the exposure of corrupt officials. This wasn't a single raid. It was an entire integrated campaign that finally revealed the truth. The cartel wasn't just operating in Texas, it was actively expanding its system. "We won a battle, but the war continues," a DEA representative concluded. "This network hasn't vanished, it's just weakened. And now, our job is to make sure it never grows back."